Do you ever feel like your brain just won't let something go? Maybe it's an awkward moment from yesterday, a stressful email, or just that general lingering feeling of being on edge. Havening is a powerful way to let those things go. And today I'll show you exactly how to do it. We're going to cover what havening is, how to practice it, and we're even going to go through a round of havening together so you get to feel the shift for yourself. So let's get into it. Now, what exactly is havening? Havening is a science-backed technique that uses soothing touch to regulate stress, calm the nervous system, and shift emotional responses. It basically tells your brain, hey, you're safe, you can relax now. It works by activating receptors in your skin, which sends signals to your brain's emotional center, the amygdala. And as you practice the self-havening touch, as you kind of see me doing already, your brain releases tons of feel-good chemicals like GABA, which is a natural calming neurotransmitter, serotonin, which is a happiness hormone, and oxytocin, the bonding and relaxation hormone. At the same time, it also lowers stress chemicals like cortisol and norepinephrine, helping you to shift out of that fight, flight, freeze, or fawn mode. And the best part is that you can do it anytime, anywhere. And if you're curious about more of the neuroscience and the efficacy of havening, I've linked a separate video down below that dives even deeper into that. The basic havening technique that you're going to learn is for everyday stressors like different frustrations or mild emotional intensity. But it's really important that you know that if you're dealing with something traumatic or highly stressful, always work with a trained havening practitioner. We have certified havening practitioners here on our team, and you can also find certified practitioners at havening.org as well. All right, so there are 4 simple self-havening touches, and in fact, I even invite you to practice these along with me right now. You'll already see me doing this first one. This is called palm havening. And what you're going to do is you're just going to bring your palms together and rub them very slowly and gently, kind of using that same pressure that you'd use if you were petting a little baby bunny or a little kitten. You can also imagine as if you had a little glass pearl between your palms. And you want to make sure that you don't break that pearl, but you also don't want to let it fall out of your palms. So just kind of nice and soothing, very gentle there. And that's the palm havening. So kind of notice what this feels like for you. The next havening touch is on the arms. So you'll start by bringing your fingertips up to your shoulders and then bringing your hands all the way down to your elbows. This is called the moving hug. Notice what this touch feels like for you. And then the last 2 havening touches are on the face. So the first is on the forehead up above the brow. So you're just gonna kind of circle down your face there. This is a touch that we kind of innately apply if we have a tension headache or a migraine. Notice what this feels like for you. You might notice that you prefer some other touches over this one. That's perfectly fine. They all have the same level of impact. Stick with what feels good for you. Now the 4th one is on the cheeks underneath the eyes. So again, you're gonna kind of circle down your face there. This is a touch that's also kind of innate, like a loving caregiver just kind of wiping away a tear very lovingly. So notice what these 4 touches feel like for you. I invite you to kind of experiment with these a little bit. And remember, it's kind of slow and gentle. Now, how do we practice the basic havening techniques? Well, there are 4 steps. Step 1 is to tune into how you're feeling in the moment. So you'll pick a specific moment in your life that when you still think about it right now, it still activates some of those negative emotions. It's obviously nothing too intense, but it's something mild, like being late for a meeting, getting a frustrating email, or just any kind of small moment of self-doubt even. And then you'll label that emotion that you feel right now as you think about that event. So maybe as you think about that event, it's frustration, sadness, anxiety, or some other emotion. You'll just kind of notice what that is for you. And if it's more than one emotion that's showing up, perfect. You'll just pick the one that has the strongest resonance for you right now. You can always repeat this again for other emotions if necessary. So that's step 1. Pick an event and notice how you feel right now as you think of it. Step 2 is to rate the intensity from 0 to 10 of that emotion. So once you have the emotion, you're just gonna notice, all right, on a scale from 0 to 10, 0 being neutral or just not there, 10 being the most intense or activating for you right now, how strong is that feeling for you in this moment? Step 3 is you'll begin to apply that havening touch, and you can just pick the touches that feel best for you on the palms, the arms, or up here on the face. And you'll begin that slow, soothing motion. All right, so at this point, we have our event. We notice how we feel as we think of that event and how intense that emotion for us is from 0 to 10. And then we begin the havening touch. Now, we're going to use something called a distraction inventory. This is where we preoccupy the mind with distractions. So how do we do that? Well, the cool thing is that your brain, as wonderful and amazing as it is, can only focus on a few things at one time. So when we use simple mental tasks or distractions like counting our steps or imagining a very peaceful place or noticing things of different shapes or colors or sizes, we break the loop of stress that happens in our brain. In fact, I invite you to imagine a toddler that's having the worst meltdown of their lives. They're crying, they're kicking, they're screaming, they're totally overwhelmed. Maybe it's even in the middle of a grocery store and everyone's watching. But now, imagine that you turn on their favorite movie and you hand them an ice cream. What happens then? Well, chances are that their focus is not really on that meltdown anymore. It's probably on watching some amazing movie and having some chocolate ice cream. Havening does the same thing for your mind. When you feel stressed, your brain locks onto the problem and keeps replaying it. That's like that meltdown. But when we shift intentionally, when we shift our focus onto something neutral or positive, some distraction, then the emotional charge starts to dissolve. And the key here is that we're not just distracting ourselves, we're also combining that with the self-havening touch. So what are some examples of distractions? Well, you could do different forms of mental movement, like imagining different things in your mind, like walking up or down the stairs, playing tennis, or bouncing a basketball, doing golf or yoga or dancing, maybe petting a pet or your favorite animal. And you're just, you can kind of count however many times you bounce the ball or take the steps. And it's just kind of imagining doing different things in your mind. In a moment, you'll get to practice this, so you'll see what I mean. Some other forms of distractions are category games, like naming different animals or foods, cities, or movies from A to Z. Maybe listing things in the room of different colors or shapes or sizes, or counting backward from 100. Some other forms of distractions could also be singing or humming, or different breathing exercises as well. And you'll actually get to experience this in practice very soon. Now, as you'll soon experience when we do this together, these seemingly simple distractions are not just about ignoring or suppressing your feelings. That's not what it's about. It's literally about rewiring how your brain is processing these feelings. There's deep reprocessing that's occurring in your mind, and research is actually able to measure that with havening techniques. So we're going to leverage that today. So now that you know how it all works, let's actually experience this together. And if it's safe and appropriate for you, you can kind of soften your gaze or maybe even close your eyes if that feels comfortable. And you'll follow my voice. I'll guide you through a round of havening step by step. So step 1, I invite you to find an event or a moment in time that on that scale from 0 to 10 is at about a 4 or lower on that scale. So this is something that's mildly irritating for you, like being 10 minutes late to work, your teenager kid rolls their eyes at you, the internet goes out, or maybe your favorite Netflix show shutting off at that peak intensity moment. Maybe that's more than a 4 though, but something that's mildly irritating but not life-threatening. Good. And once you have that event in mind, I invite you to sense how you feel right now as you think about that event and label the strongest emotion for you right now. Good. Now, step 2 is to take that emotion and notice in this moment from 0 to 10 how intense it is for you. 0 being quite neutral or zen, and 10 being the most intense for you. Once you have that number, I invite you to begin to apply the self-havening touch wherever is most comfortable for you. So you can follow my lead here in this video on the palms, the arms, or the face, or just stick to whatever feels best for you. And now we're going to preoccupy the mind with distractions. Alright, so I invite you now to look around your space and notice 3 items that are blue. You can say the names of these items out loud or just kind of say it in your head. Very good. And now notice 3 items that are green. All right, let's do 3 items that are yellow or have some yellow in them. Very good. And now let's name 10 different foods or beverages. And now I invite you, for our last distraction, to visualize a peaceful place for you. Somewhere like the beach, or maybe a cozy spot at home, or maybe just a favorite memory. You can even imagine as if you were there right now, just kind of looking through your own eyes. See what you saw when you were there. Hear what you heard that time in your favorite place, and notice one thing that you feel in your favorite place. Good, and you can even imagine kind of being there now and taking 10 steps. 10 steps. You can count those steps out loud or in your mind. Good. So you can now come back into the space. If your eyes were closed, you can open your eyes and rest your hands gently. And now take a deep breath in and a long exhale out. Now check in for you. Where is that emotion now on a scale from 0 to 10? If it's still above a 2, you can repeat this self-havening practice as many times as you need. And of course, the more you practice, the more you'll train your nervous system to stay calm and regulated. All right, so let's recap what we've done. You've labeled how you felt as you thought about an event or a moment in time. You've rated that emotion on a scale from 0 to 10. In this case, we kind of stuck with a 4 or below. You applied the self-havening touch on different points in the body, and you preoccupied your mind with distractions. And in this case, you named items of different colors, different types of foods or beverages, and you had a different sensory experience, kind of mental movement, being in a place that you love, noticing what you see, taking some steps, and that's it. Havening is simple, fast, and incredibly effective. And the more you practice, the more you'll train your brain and body to stay calm and regulated. So I hope you found this helpful. If you'd like to go deeper, I've linked a few guided havening practices below. And if you found this video helpful, I invite you to watch this video next, where we dive into how your brain processes stress and why havening works on a neurological level. It's pretty fun to geek out on. So I'll see you there, and I'm sending you love.